Love it or hate it, history has been made. The world is watching, and Colorado is officially America's cannabis capital.
It's like 1928 all over again, right?
In their eyes, prohibition is over.
We really, truly are making history today.
All right, as far as we can tell, yesterday marked the first time in the history of the world, that people were able to walk into a store and buy marijuana that is 100% legal. Okay, well, not 100%. Technically, marijuana is still rather illegal under federal law. But you would not know it from the scene yesterday in Colorado, where people stood in long lines in the cold to be among the first to purchase pot for recreational use that was grown, supplied, and sold all in accordance with state law. The federal government has vowed not to challenge the law so long as the state prevents out-of-state distribution and use by minors, among other factors. It amounts to the most liberal marijuana regime in the world ever. And here's how it works. State residents can walk into a licensed store and buy up to an ounce, which incidentally is a lot of marijuana, to anyone over age 21. All they need to do is show an ID. Out-of-state residents can buy up to a quarter ounce, which they must consume in the state. And that actually isn't all that easy. It is illegal to smoke in public and against the rules in many hotels, which has left some tourists to, quote, find a parking lot and roll up the car windows. In general, though, the process of buying pot in Colorado isn't all that different than buying wine anywhere else. There are a lot of different varieties for sale and knowledgeable employees on hand to explain them all. And while there are still a lot of questions to be answered as Colorado embarks on one of the most incredible social policy experiments of our lifetime, this may be just the first domino to fall. It will soon be legal to buy and use marijuana recreationally in Washington state, and efforts to legalize it are underway around the country. A major factor will be the $67 million that Colorado projects it will take in tax revenue from marijuana sales just this year. Yesterday marked a singular inflection point in the history of the war on drugs and the rise of America as the nation in the world most intent on imprisoning its own citizens. There's everything that happened before legalization and everything that will happen now. It's the second day of an entirely new era. Joining me now to talk about it is Jack Finlaw, Chief Legal Counsel to Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper. He's co-chair of the Amendment 64 Task Force. And I imagine you are in really uncharted territory here. How have the first 2 days gone?
Well, Chris, the first 2 days have been really excellent. We've had long lines. We've had regulators out visiting the stores. We've had state and local governments involved. We've got really responsible business owners who want to follow the rules. So it's been a very positive first 2 days.
So who is selling this marijuana? I'm a little unclear as to who are the folks that have these businesses and how are they regulated?
These folks are people that already have had really well-established medical marijuana grow facilities and medical marijuana dispensaries in Colorado over the past several years. These are the type of people that I've gotten to know that will remind you of people you've met when you visited Napa wineries or craft breweries or local distilleries. These are young entrepreneurial type folks who are trying to grow a business and are trying to follow the rules and know that if they follow the rules, they will be protected from federal intervention and hopefully thrive. They're people that are hiring Coloradans, giving them jobs, obviously providing a product that some people in Colorado want to purchase.
As someone overseeing the implementation of this entirely new regulatory regime, what's the thing you fear most? What keeps you up at night? What don't you want to see out your BlackBerry at 3 in the morning?
You know, Colorado allows both this regulated market, the thing that's been the focus over the past few days, the grow operations that are licensed, the infused product manufacturers, the retail stores. But we also allow home grows. We allow people to grow up to 6 plants in their home. And 6 plants produces a lot of marijuana. And that is outside of our regulatory scheme. There's no real regulatory oversight of those plants. So there is a risk, I think, of those plants being the source of black market marijuana, both in state and out of state.
Yeah, is that leakage issue? This is a tweet from the Wyoming Highway Patrol that caught my eye today. All caps, yeah. So you know they're serious. Do not bring your Colorado purchased marijuana into Wyoming. If you start to get that kind of leakage, is that the kind of thing that you imagine would begin to trigger federal intervention?
Yeah, absolutely. I would hope that our neighboring states won't focus on the tourist who's got a small amount of marijuana. But we will work closely with our neighboring states to make sure that cars and trucks are not packed with Colorado-grown marijuana for resale in other parts of the country.
The restriction of the sellers to this group that had already kind of been regulated and was doing this under the medical marijuana, at a certain point that's going to be lifted, and you're just going to have a marijuana business in the state of Colorado, right?
Well, you know, it's really going to be hard to enter into the marijuana business. We have significant background check requirements, significant licensing and other fees to get into the business. There's residency requirements. To own a business, you have to be a Colorado resident for at least 2 years, and you've got to be a resident to work in the businesses.
Jack Finlaw, Chief Legal Counsel to Colorado's governor. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, more on what this looks like and what it means for America ahead.